Oh, it's live. It's
I had
live.
to remove.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live. Welcome to the IPL weekly roundup from the Bharat Army, and we are here discussing everything that has happened in this past week of IPL cricket. And what a week it's been, eh? Let's have a quick look at the table so we can see what's going on with all of that madness. As you can see, most teams are kind of on a level playing field. But unfortunately, we're going to go straight into it here. We're going to go right to the bottom of the table first up. And first up, we are going to speak to Manish. Manish, Sunrisers Hyderabad. What's going on, mate?
Well, I would say there's a lot wrong that's going on with the setup of the team currently. I think we haven't found the right combination to begin with. And we've made quite a lot of changes in the batting order as well. And yesterday, making 4 changes, I thought that was horrendous, playing such an inexperienced middle order against experienced campaigners like Mumbai Indians. And I think at the moment, this team is going through an identity crisis. I don't think they've got anything right as far as the first 3 matches are concerned. I think Kane Williamson's inclusion is something all Sunrisers Hyderabad fans are looking forward to. Hopefully that happens for us sooner.
Yes, indeed. You certainly hope so. Kavya Maran doesn't look particularly happy on episode. Hi, Kavya, if you're watching, by the way. I'm sure she's a big fan of the show. David Warner looks like he's about to cry at the end of every post-match press conference, Manish.
Well, he's someone who's always been passionate about this franchise, and the owners have vested a lot of faith in him as captain. But I personally think it's time for him to step down as skipper. He's 34 now. He's suffering from an injury currently. I think it's time Kane Williamson steps in and takes the charge. And this also should give David Warner the much needed freedom to, sort of go out there and express himself and maybe get back to being the explosive Warner we all know to be the pocket-sized dynamite.
Yeah, we just had the question come in of what's wrong with Sunrisers this season. Anybody else got any ideas with what's going on with Sunrisers? Who wants to wade in with their opinion on what's happening with Sunrisers? It's a little bit crazy over there. Obviously, we had Chennai Super Kings, kind of being the vultures surrounding Kane Williamson last season. But Rishi, what do you think about what's going on with Sunrisers?
Well, Ashish, clearly there's way too much dependency on the top order, and the inexperience in the middle order is showing. And like Manish said, the like of Kane Williamson will have to come in to stabilize the middle order. Let's not forget, they're playing at Chennai, a pitch that Kane Williamson will be much suited for. And obviously, Hyderabad not going for him have actually, dented their chances to make it to the playoffs this season. And I hope they're not making Williamson the captain and Warner is resigning, because we are eyeing Williamson in the mega auction next year. Not really sure if MS Dhoni's continue next season or not, but we would definitely want Kane Williamson in our team next year if things go well.
Yes, indeed. Well, time will tell what's going to happen with the Sunrisers. I'm sure there'll be, we'll be glued to our TVs trying to see what happens to them, and glued to our TVs to see, the odd cameraman get a close up on Kavya once again. Hi, Kavya. if you're watching. So let's go back up the table. We're going to Anmol, Punjab Kings, no longer Kings 11 Punjab. Anmol, Sat Sri Akal, how are you?
Sat Sri Akal, Ashish. Thank you for having me on the show. I would say that it's completely disappointing to come from third on the table straightly to the second last. It's very disappointing for me. I think this is the time. It's KL's birthday today, and we are working very hard to defeat DC this time and go up in the table again.
Yes, very, very happy birthday to KL Rahul, the best looking man in all of Indian cricket, should you ask me. But yeah, what do you think you're going to need to do to overcome Delhi today, Anmol?
I think that we should do some changes in the bowling department because uh, we are not happy. I'm not happy. Actually, I'm not happy with the bowling combinations because Meredith is not giving the depth to the batting as well as not giving the uh, performance in the death overs. I think so. So we think that Jordan would be best option.
Well, I can tell you the one thing with Punjab Kings, Anmol, is that always entertaining cricket because we had the match against Rajasthan Royals earlier on in the week, which was a near replica match of the match that they had last year. But instead, it was Punjab that came out on top this year. What did you think of that match?
We can't take the hearts like RCB has took, but we can give the heart attacks to the fans. I think so. As in this match, I would appreciate Sanju Samson inning because how he took. It was our fault because we have dropped two catches of Sanju Samson. He's not a kid anymore. I think that at Wankhede pitch, that pitch he can hit long sixes, and it was our luck with us on that day that we won that. I think that
Yes,
we
indeed.
would have been. I would have been with Manish or below Manish this time.
Quite possibly. But yeah, we will see what happens with Punjab this year. I'm sure Preeti Zinta is also watching the show. Hi, Preeti. Hope you're okay. So next up in the table, Kolkata Knight Riders. Abhijit is back. How you doing, Abhijit? Mr. Gautam Gambhir, number one fan. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's IPL season, and I'm very glad supporting an existing team that is KKR. Unlike you are still stuck with Gujarat Lions.
Never forget the Gujarat Lions, everybody. The greatest team in the history of IPL. Okay, never forget. We'll be back.
But
We'll
I'm
be back at
happy
some
we are
point.
still supporting one existing team.
Indeed, yeah, indeed. So, Abhijit, what do you think about KKR's season so far this year? Obviously, you've got Nitish Rana, who has scored the most runs this year so far.
If you look at the last year performance of KKR, it was the top order which was failing. Initially, they started off with Sunil Nari. Then that experiment did not work. Then 180 came from Rahul Tripathi. Then all of that Dinesh Karthik captaincy. So everything was scattered around the top order. But this time we have fixed it. It looks like Nitish Rana and Shubman Gill are going to be steady at the top of the order. And apart from that 2 overs from Bolt and Bumrah, we did not. It has been pretty good for us so far. So apart from that famous choke against Mumbai Indians, we are pretty much same team. I mean, if you remove that 3-4 overs or that 30 balls where we needed 31 runs, we have performed really well. So our top order is doing well. Our bowling last year we could not take a wickets in the power play, but this time we are doing really amazing in terms of bowling, restricting a batting unit like a Mumbai Indians to that total, and same with SRH. That was a pretty amazing performance for KKR. I'm hopeful our batting middle or lower batting order will come into party today. Today is also the day when we logged our horns with RCB 13 years ago. That was the first match. So I'm hoping that luck will bring back and will come victorious against RCB today.
Yes, indeed, KKR. Yeah, looking like a decent team this year. We'll have to see how far they get. But Abhijit, still that hoodoo you can't get off your back. It's Mumbai Indians once again. You just cannot beat that team.
It is quite unfortunate. I mean, we have the worst record for a team against another individual team. So that Mumbai Indians, this time I was really, I mean, we are just friends and we're watching from a distance. We don't know what is going inside. For the players, it could be just a normal game, but for us, it's like big Mumbai Indians game where we prepare like whenever the schedule comes out. The first thing I watch is when is the Mumbai Indians match because I don't want at the end so that they will don't laugh, Drupad, but that is the fact. I don't want it at the end, so that will jinx our chances in the playoffs. But this time, I was extremely happy that we are playing in the first. I think next third or fourth match is again against the Mumbai Indians. It was really fairy tale for me till that Joka happened. But yeah, what could I am um, habituated with losing against Mumbai Indians. That's fine.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's a man who can accept it. Speaking of jinxes, going up in the table, we've got the Rajasthan Royals next. We've got our very own jinx machine, Sanchit. How you doing, Sanchit?
Good, Ashish, and it's good to have the title of Jinx King over from Ahan. He's actually my inspiration for this. So, yeah, man, it's really a mixed start to the season for our team. Before the season, we lost Jofra Archer, and people actually rightfully said that our season is done and dusted. And then after the first match, we losing Stokes was a big blow as well, because first match he didn't fire, but we know the caliber of Ben Stokes and what he could bring to the team at the top of the order and also with the ball. So it was a pretty heartbreaking first 2 days. I mean, to talk about the first match, Sanju Samson was incredible in that run chase. It lacked that Bollywood climax in the end, but unfortunately, credit goes to Punjab Kings, and also the way Arshdeep bowled in that last over. So it was a good game of cricket, but I'm really happy with how we bounced back against Delhi Capitals. And speaking about voodoos, we didn't win against Delhi since 2019, so it was a great feeling to beat Delhi Capitals, especially from the situation that we were in. I think 30 for 3. So I would like to highlight that we were actually in this kind of situation even in the last season. There were so many times we lost 3 or 4 wickets in the power play, and then we could not manage to come back into the game from that situation. But it was good to see that happen in this particular match. But still, there are more negatives to focus upon than positives in the first 2 games. The bowling was good. I think the Triple M show delivered. Morris Miller and Mustafizur, and along with Chetan Sakaria, I think his backstory is an inspiration to many, and I would really like him to put up consistent performance over the season, because we have seen Rajasthan Royals lacking that Indian bowling depth, and this time I think even the Lord arrived on the stage really early, and that is Jaydev Unadkat himself. So looking good so far from the second match onwards, but still I think we need to rectify our middle order woes as well.
Yes, indeed. Well, as you mentioned, one of your purchases this season, Chris Morris, he looks all right, doesn't he? He did pretty well in that match against Delhi Capitals.
Well, certainly. I think after first match, when Sanju denied Chris Morris the strike, I think many would say that it was a wrong decision of Sanju Samson. But at that point, I believe it proved out to be the right one, because no one was hitting the ball well as much as Sanju Samson was doing. But yeah, Morris arrived with the bat, and what a time to do it against Delhi Capitals. That match actually was an emotional roller coaster for me as a Rajasthan Royals fan. So what a way to deliver. I mean, I really hope that he continues to put up performances with the bat, and also I'm expecting him to do with the ball as well. I mean, to fill in the shoes of someone like Jofra Archer is a big thing to ask for, and I'm certainly hoping for Chris Morris to deliver more with the ball as well, because he hasn't been able to do that in the initial matches. But I think this performance against Delhi Capital would certainly inspire him to be better in the games coming forward.
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, we talk about that match against Delhi Capitals. Let's talk about Delhi Capitals. Hey, Ahan, how's it going? How's it going? Everything all right on your end?
Yeah, everything's going well on my end. Good to be back on the podcast finally after 6 months. But I think it was fine while Sanchit was stealing the Jinx titles from me and all. That's all okay. I didn't want Rajasthan Royals stealing points from us after 3 years, which has never happened before. Like it's supposed to be a given win, but that didn't happen. I think we played. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw what Ricky Ponting's speech, the one that he gave, which came out yesterday. He basically what he said very rightly was we played a below average game, and we were nowhere near our best, especially batting and bowling. Especially batting, bowling we were still like first 10 overs we were there, but the fact that we still got so close to winning, where we basically had the game in our hand with like 4 or 5 overs to go. It shows the depth that the team has, that even with people like Tom Curran playing for us, we can almost win games and nearly take results out at the end. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, Tom Curran, let's just talk about Tom Curran for a minute. That was a pretty horrendous last over, wasn't it?
I think we made so actually it was ironic because the last over Tom Curran is an ex RR player and Chris Morris is an ex DC player. So basically they switched roles and they decided to all work towards RR. I don't know why that happened, but honestly, I think Tom Curran has bowled really badly in the last two matches. But I don't think we can put the last two against Rajasthan purely down to him because I think when you need 27 of 2, it's the job of your lead bowler to close the game out. It's the job of your lead bowler to close the game out in a situation so that the other guy has as many runs as possible to defend. And that lead bowler for Delhi is Rabada. Like, for example, like Bumrah did yesterday again, or how Bumrah did against KKR. Your second last over shouldn't go for more than 5, 6, 7 runs. But I think that's the mistake because Rabada went for 15. And I know it was his first game back, and that's why like it's fine. He's excused of it. But honestly, I think once it got to a situation where Tom Curran only had 12 to defend, it was going to be almost impossible for him to do it. He made it worse on himself by bowling such disgusting balls that got hit, and therefore it makes it seem like it's his fault that he's bowling full tosses. But actually, it was like I think Rabada has to share equal blame for that. But Tom Curran's out. That's fine. Nokia's coming back today. We're all good.
Yeah, so, Sanchit, you'll also remember that the Indian Trent Bolt, Jaydev Unadkat, was also an ex-DC player as well. So, lots going on this year in the middle of the table, but not a lot to separate those teams. One team that has found themselves back up the top half of the table after what feels like a long time is Chennai Super Kings. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a celebrity on the show to talk about Chennai Super Kings. We have the host of Chat with Chabra, Rishi Chabra, who is here to be our resident Chennai Super Kings fan. How's it going, Rishi?
Good, Ashish. Good to be back on the show. It's been a while since I'm back on the podcast. So, yeah, good.
So what do you think is gonna be kind of the end goal with Chennai Super Kings this season? Obviously, you're third in the table at the moment. Are you starting to think that maybe you might be able to win another title this year, or do you think the team might patter out towards the later half of the tournament?
Well, early days into the tournament, I'm not really sure where we'll qualify, whether or not. I'm hoping we do. Looking at the performance in the first two games, I think the batting lineup did pretty well in the first game, even though we thought, before the start of the season that our bowling is going to be more effective, what we actually saw in the second game. But given the situation that we were in the first game, the Dew lost the toss, lost early wickets, but I think we did pretty well with the bat. Coming into the second game, one thing that I would want the management to look into is we could have finished that game against Punjab by the 14th over. And we took it to the 16th over, which meant our net run rate came down from over +1 to 0.65 or something closer to that. When you play a tournament that's 14 games long, at the end of the tournament, this might come to hurt you or bite you back. So something that the team management should look into. And there was no need to send Suresh Raina in after Moeen Ali got dismissed. I think they should have just sent in Sam Curran and finished the game off. But good to see the bowlers come back into form after the first game, and the batting looks good. I mean, the way the batting lineup that we actually have 11 players who can bat. We have Deepak Chahar coming in at 11th position, so he can bat as well, score runs. So really looking forward to the season. And Lungi Nigiri is back into action. He's out of quarantine as well, so another addition to our team would do good to us, I believe, in the future.
Yes, indeed. Yes, Chennai Super Kings. Yeah, back up the next half of the table. Do you dream, Rishi, of? Yeah, go on.
So if my calculation is right for today, the two games that are being played, if KKR and Punjab win today, and if we manage to beat Rajasthan tomorrow, we might go top of the table. So. And I know there's a lot of permutation combination. I have my own Excel sheet that's been prepared for the season, and that keeps changing after every game. So fingers crossed, the two results that go away, and then if we beat Rajasthan tomorrow, we might go top of the table.
Wouldn't that be something to see CSK back at the top of the table after the calamitous season that they had last year? And possibly to see MS Dhoni lift another title, eh? Obviously, CSK have the 3 titles to Mumbai's 4. Have I got that right? So they obviously are 5 now. Okay, so they want to obviously bridge that gap a little bit more. So let's go up to number 2 in the table, shall we? Amanda Hayden, come on down. I tell you what, I really wanted Sunrisers to win yesterday. Nothing against Mumbai Indians, of course, but I wanted them to win just so RCB could have top spot in this podcast on the table. Obviously, Bangalore are second at the moment, but I don't think in the history of this podcast we ever did one in which RCB was in the top position, and we nearly had it yesterday until Mumbai stole your thunder. But how do you feel like it's going this year for RCB?
Well, I'm on top of the world looking at their performance, Well, last year was pretty good as well. Can't complain. We just missed out, towards the end. But this time, what impresses me the most as an RCB fan is seeing the uncapped players do so well against, I think Mumbai, like every single one of them, they're all capped. They're all international players. But then you've got RCB when you've got domestic like Hershel, you've got Shahbaz, you've got, a lot of uncapped players. And it feels so good to see them do so well because, in the end, IPL is all about giving the youngsters a chance and, seeing how far they can go and, giving them a chance in the Indian team. So seeing them do so well against a team like Mumbai Indians and SRH, who just always our rival. So it feels really good to see them do so well.
Yes, indeed. RCB fans copped a lot of stick on the Fan Dusra show from the Sunrisers fans, talking about being the most annoying fans and all that type of thing. So take that, Sunrisers fans. That's what you get. RCB with a tremendous victory in that match. We talked about RCB, and I think the big concern before the tournament was the death bowling. But I tell you what, Hershel Patel, top wicket taker in this tournament so far. Another ex-Delhi Capitals player. He's doing all right, isn't he? He's doing all right, Aashish Patel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the RCB management have done their homework. There was a really good, trade with DC and once again, seeing them, give chances to people like Hershel Patel and Virat Kohli, showing faith in him and, and Shahbaz as well coming in that 17th over. I think Shahbaz himself said that, I have to thank Virat Kohli for giving me this opportunity. And yeah, so I think Hershel Patel has been fantastic and I hope he continues.
Ahan, there's a running theme I'm finding this week. That there's a lot of ex-DC players who are playing much better for their new teams now than they were for Delhi Capitals. What's going on there?
Half the IPL is full of ex-DC players. I mean, if you're going to go to ex-DC players, almost everyone, Andre Russell, David Warner, AB de Villiers, these are all ex-DC players who have been playing well for the other teams. I mean, I guess we're taking the title of RCB back. RCB took the title off us for a few seasons. We're taking it back to where it belongs.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And Hershel Patel, I think he took his second fifer against Mumbai Indians. I think he's the only player to ever take a fifer against the Mumbai Indians.
Until Russell did it the next game.
Yeah.
Until Russell did it the next game. Yeah, absolutely. Here's a fact for you, though, everybody. An IPL fact. Hershel Patel has never taken a 5-wicket haul against Gujarat Lions. Don't ever forget that. That's a fact. So, Amanda, last question. Virat Kohli century. How long do we have to wait for that?
Oh my God. Well,
is it coming in this? Is it coming in this tournament? Is it coming in the IPL? Is what I want to know.
It will. This has to be Virat Kohli's year. I mean, I'm so full of superstitions and stuff like that. So I feel like, he has to score that century just to complete everything. And also, I can't deal with a bunch of people who troll on him. So, here's hoping, he scores a century. Hopefully this match.
Yes, indeed. Well, as some RCB fans may say, that whole Isala Cup thing, but let's not get onto all of that yet. So that leads us to the top of the table and to our podcast debutant, Drupad, who is our Mumbai Indians fan, and he comes in straight at the top of the table. Everybody, check it out. Mumbai Indians, 3 games, 1-2, lost 1. Decent net run rate at this point as well. Obviously, the rest of the teams need to catch up, apart from Hyderabad, to actually playing their 3rd game. But Drupad, Mumbai Indians back at the top of the table, as some might say, where they belong.
Yep, exactly. Looking at the points table, I think there's not much to, if we just don't look at anything and if we just see the points table, I think there is nothing to worry for the Mumbai Indians. We are top of the table. We are back where we belong. First week up, we are top of the table, but there are a lot of things to be to worry about the Mumbai Indians team. One thing being the middle order woes which is happening. We have such great players in terms of Ishan Kishan, Karan Pollard, Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya, who was in good form during the India-England series, is suddenly looking out of shape in this IPL. And Karan Pollard, who just hit that six sixes, and he was also in good form against the Sri Lanka in the T20 series, and also Dick Cock. He was like coming out of a good 80, 50, 80 and 50 run score against the Pakistan in the series. Everyone were looking in form, but there's something just not clicking for the Mumbai Indians. It's just our bowlers who is just making the game for the Mumbai Indians every match. In the first match, again, Marco Jansen, another debutant. Can you imagine a player who has not played an international match, who has zero experience, is given to open the bowling for the first match of the brand new season of the IPL? I mean, that's the confidence which Mumbai Indians showed in Jansen, and he performed well in the first two games as well. In the next game, Rahul Chahar, brilliant bowling spell, which he bowled 4 overs against KKR. And again, yesterday as well, Rahul again, he took 3 wickets. So the spinners are doing the trick for the Mumbai Indians. Again, as good as the spinner, as good as our bowlers are bowling for the Mumbai Indians as well. They are the batsmen are not doing their job. So it won't be fair to say that Mumbai Indians is doing perfectly fine right now. It won't be fair enough to take the credit from the opposition as well. Like big thank you to someone like Andre Russell, who first took 5 wickets and then just didn't do anything with the bat and let us win that match from the situation where we were. We don't
Well,
deserve
yeah,
to win that match.
I don't want to rain on the Mumbai parade because obviously you're top of the table at the moment, but they've not been particularly convincing victories. I mean, like
Exactly.
I'm sure Manish would attest to the Sunrisers match and how kind of they dissipated with that chase. But
So,
it's still a lot of cracks in the armor for Mumbai so far this year.
yeah, the main thing is the middle order, right? Because if you see the first three matches, in the first match against RCB, we were like around 81 for one. In the second match, again 80s for 1 wicket, and again yesterday, if you see, we were 75 for two, I think. So we are getting the start, but not able to convert that start to a big score of, because when you see the first 10 overs, 80 runs, 70 runs, and next 10 overs like 50 runs. I mean, if you see the kind of players which Mumbai Indians has, you don't expect such kind of performances from the players in like Hardik Pandya or Karan Pollard. One positive yesterday, which I would like to say, that it's good that Karan Pollard got some batting practice. The two sixes which he hit yesterday, I think that was the game changing, because we like won by 13 runs, and those two last two balls, 12 runs. I think that would have been the biggest difference of yesterday's match. So batting is one thing which MI needs to fix, and if that is fixed, I think we can maintain that top position for a longer period of time.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see which position Mumbai Indians finish in. Obviously, they are one of the best T20 franchises ever. I think it's fair to say in the history of franchise cricket. So we'll see where they fit. Yeah, go on, Rupert.
One more point is that since we were talking about Delhi Capitals players playing for other teams, I would like to thank DC and RCB for giving us Trent Bolt and uh, Quinton de Kock, one of the greatest trades, because since de Kock and Trent Bolt came to Mumbai Indians, I think the fortunes have literally changed. We have sorted our opening order issues, which we had from a long period of time. And Jasprit Bumrah has got a great partner in Trent Bolt to bowl with the new ball. And I mean, he was one of the top wicket takers in the previous IPL as well. So great. That is the reason why MI is one of the best teams, because the kind of team which they have created over the years. So yeah, literally thanks to RCB and DC for giving us these two great players in the IPL.
Well, there is also another reason why Mumbai Indians are so great, and that, of course, is the Ambani family. So a big hello to Nita Bhabi
Okay,
Ambani.
okay.
Jai Shri Krishna, Kemcho, Nita Bhabi. Hope you're okay. Yeah.
Good
So,
one,
I
Ashish.
mean,
I hope
we
she's
also
also watching the show. I hope even she is
of
watching the show
of
right
course
now.
she is. She's a big fan. She's a big fan. Of course she is. So I mean, with the other guys here, obviously, I feel like we all need to talk about the question that we asked pretty much every week on the last year's podcast, was how do you stop the Mumbai Indians? Obviously, they haven't really got going yet this year. But Rishi, do you kind of see like any particular ways on how to stop these guys from making it a sixth IPL title?
Well, definitely, Ashish. At some point of time, I think Mumbai Indians will, have a stage where their batters and bowlers are not kicking. I was just going through the comments on Facebook. Their middle order isn't that settled. If you see,
Yeah.
Rohit has been. They've been saying that Rohit has to score runs. Quinton de Kock opening, and then you have the likes of Ishan Kishan, Suryakumar Yadav, and all these big hitters. But then it takes is one game for their middle order to get exposed, and that's what's happened. Mumbai Indians haven't won any game convincingly, so you never know when that phase comes into an IPL season when Mumbai Indians won't perform. And let's not forget, no home advantage here. So even though they're getting acclimatized, they're getting used to the Chennai pitch. At some point of time, when they move out, they have to do that all over again. I know that's with all the other IPL teams as well, but then Mumbai Indians might find it difficult, and then it might hurt them. They haven't played Chennai Super Kings this year. Last year,
the
we
big
lost
rivalry,
four.
yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Yes, we lost 2 games to them last year. So this year, hopefully, it's going to be payback time. So I'm really looking forward to our clash with Mumbai Indians and see how it goes.
Same here,
Okay,
Rishi.
let's go over to Amanda, because I think you had your hand up. Then we'll go over to Ahan and Sanchit.
I was just gonna say that it feels so good to be the only team so far to beat Mumbai. I feel like the only way you can overcome Mumbai is getting someone to take a fifer against them, because that's how we stop them, literally. Because, I mean, yeah, if you get Ishan, Pollard, Hardik, Krunal all out, you're set. That it's your game. I think those
fair
guys,
enough,
once
yeah.
they start, they don't stop.
Every team needs Hershel Patel, is what you're saying, basically. Ahan, how do you stop the Mumbai Indians, eh?
I think, firstly, Amanda's wrong. The only reason they beat Mumbai is because they played them in the first game, and Mumbai doesn't win that. So that's the only reason they won. But moving on to how you beat Mumbai, I actually don't think, like as everyone has said, they've not won. I don't think they've actually won a game. Their opponents have lost the games. Like, yes, they bowled well, but in no situation should you be as well as the opposition is bowling. You cannot choke a chase of 31 to 30 balls. And yesterday, SRH's middle order, I have no idea what the hell is going on there. But otherwise, like, honestly, I think the way to stop Mumbai is what other teams have been doing. You restrict them to 140, 150. It's just that you have to have the know-how and like you have to be sensible. Like a lot of these times, like even with if you look at the Kolkata game, they needed 31 or 30. They did not need to go to hit boundaries. They should have closed the game out with singles and doubles. On that kind of pitch, that's how you have to win the game in that situation. So I think if the team just play sensibly against Mumbai, they have a good chance. And that's also because this year Mumbai are playing on pitches that really do not suit them at all. They've got 5 games in Chennai and they've got 4 in Delhi. And all 9 games are on slow spinning conditions. So honestly, if teams play sensibly against them, they expose their middle order. Like their middle order lost pace on the ball. Ishan Kishan yesterday could barely touch the ball. He played like 12 of 21 yesterday. And I think even Hardik and Kyle Pollard like pace on the ball. So if you don't give them that, because of these slow conditions, you can honestly restrict them, and then you just have to be sensible on how you chase them. Honestly, I feel like teams now should play against Mumbai Indians, like taking Bumrah's 4 overs of 20 runs and no wickets. Just do not give him a wicket. Take him for 20 runs, 18 runs, whatever. Do not give him a wicket. And basically, after that, you attack the others for however much you need in that chase. It's like people used to play Narayan at one point, and people now play Rashid Khan. That's how I think people should approach chases against Mumbai.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Sanchit, what do you think about Mumbai? How do you stop them?
Well, actually, speaking about Mumbai Indians, I think Rajasthan Royals have had a good record against them since 2018. I think there is actually a pattern that we have been following since 2018. I believe we have chased in almost every game that we have won against Mumbai since 2018. And the best thing that we did against Mumbai Indians was we attacked their spinners, because we have seen time and again that Mumbai Indians actually come back into the game no matter what situation they are in, because in that middle overs phases during 8 overs to 15, before their death bowlers come into the attack, their spinners actually crawl back into the game by containing. We have seen that happen against KKR and also against Sunrisers Hyderabad. So I believe teams need to attack their spinners, and then it shouldn't go till the 16th over. The game shouldn't go till the 16th over, because then the likes of Bumrah and Bolt are pretty dangerous to attack. So I believe the best tactic to beat Mumbai Indians is to have a chasing plan against them. And you cannot I know that they are not firing from the first game onwards, but I still believe that Mumbai Indians, if they are asked to chase any target above 160, 170, they will manage to do it, because the likes of Pollard and Pandya, they are not firing as of now, but they will fire at some point of stage. So the best time to beat Mumbai Indians, especially right now, is in the initial phases, and you need to attack their spinners more, especially while chasing.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So lots of thoughts there on how to beat the Mumbai Indians. Obviously, Drupad, don't take it personally.
No,
We
no, no,
have
no.
to all discuss how to beat this team because nobody's
Yeah.
been able to beat them for a long time. So, in closing, then let's just talk about very, very quickly on the two matches that are coming up today. Oh, Drupad, did you want to say something?
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing personally, but right, Ahan said that MI have not won it convincingly because to be honest, as an MI fan, it hasn't been that pleasing to see MI at the top of the table, but it's not that convincing win at the top of the table because to be honest, KKR and Hyderabad they just gave the game away. So yes, going in the tournament, I think our batting needs to be sorted a bit, and if that is done, as Sanchit said, that even if we are chasing, we can chase around a 160, 170, even on a pitch like Chepauk, because with the kind of batting which Mumbai has, if we have to chase around 150, 160 on Chepauk, we can do that as well. So we have two more games to go. So if we can set the tone in these two games, going in the tournament, I think the next leg, I think, which is in Delhi, is going to be crucial for us. So I think MI needs to pull up their socks right now as soon as possible in terms of the batting department.
Yes, indeed. And just think, if you hadn't have won that match yesterday and ruined the parade, then RCB would have been top of the table for the first time ever in the history of this podcast. So speaking of RCB, the match is coming up for Super Sunday today. RCB versus Kolkata. Amanda and Abhijit. Amanda, what do you think is going to happen in today's match, and how do you beat KKR?
Well, honestly, I try to stay as optimistic as possible because I love my team so much. So yeah, I mean, as I'm always going to be optimistic, and I hope these guys, these once again these uncapped players, keep that form going, and get Virat Kohli.
Oh, Amanda's frozen. Don't worry. We'll go over to Abhijit. Abhijit, what do you think is going to happen in today's match?
Get rid of AB and Virat first, and that is the first primary whenever you are facing RCB as an opponent. So that would be the first thing that KKR would like to do. And second thing, I mean, there are certain worries for KKR in the middle. I mean, before talking about RCB, I mean, Morgan, Russell, there is one innings from DK of 22. Apart from the top order of KKR, there has hardly been any contribution from the middle or lower middle order. And KKR bowling has been doing very well. So I am really hopeful KKR will restrict RCB to a very manageable total if they field first. Otherwise, get rid of AB and Virat first. That is the primary thing, and take care of your own middle or lower middle batting order. That should be the key for KKR today. And I'm really a little bit superstitious today because this is the day when we first met against RCB some 13 years ago. So that luck could bring back, and we could win hopefully.
Superstitious, eh? Superstitious. Well, Anmol, Delhi Capitals you've got later on today. How are you going to fare against beating Delhi Capitals, who are finding ways to beat themselves almost somewhat?
I think from 2 to 3 years, it is very difficult to beat Delhi Capitals. They have been pretty much a decent and above decent team. In the likes of there's a coach Ricky Ponting. I think this man has changed the whole face of Delhi's team. I think this man is the changing of the Delhi's team. It is very difficult to beat them, but we are Punjabis. We will not get back. We are very jiddi types. We will bounce back, and like the last match we played against Delhi was I think we restricted them. We restricted them after all the Dhawan century. I think so, if I'm not wrong. Dhawan hit the century second time, and we restricted them in the 16 to 20th over with the powerful Yorkers from Shami and Jordan. I'm expecting the same this time from them.
Well, yeah, we've just had a comment come in from the comment section from Vasant Narayan saying, "What should DC do to ensure they win today?" Ahan Gupta, what will you want from DC to ensure they don't choke after a good start? So, what do you think you're gonna expect from your team to not choke?
First and foremost, I'd want Sanchit to not say anything about the match today. That's a good start always. Moving on from that, I think. Honestly, I think it's about the foreign combination. Like, as I said, Norke is back. And I know Delhi want to play Norke, Rabada and Wokes. and that's a really like lethal bowling combination with Avesh and Ashwin. That's like probably one of the best bowling combinations in the league. But I think it's unreasonable and unsustainable because I think we don't without Shreyas Iyer we don't have the Indian batting to be able to cover for so many foreign fast bowlers, and therefore have Indian and therefore bowl Indian keep all your Indian batsmen. And as a dear friend of mine, Gurkeet, would want me to say, I think Ajinkya Rahane needs to leave this team. It's not running with him.
You can't say that about Ajinkya Rahane. How dare you?
I think we need.
God.
I think we have to get head. So it's going to be a real big call because I think we have to make a decision between Wokes and Nokia and which one we want to play. And whoever they choose then plays. Because I mean, it's really a toss up because Wokes is bowled so well, but Wokes bowls in the power play. Nokia bowls at the death. What do you need? It's up to you to decide. And then I think whichever one you drop, you get in Hetmeyer, bat him at 3, and then you play Pant at 4, Stoinis at 5, and then someone Lalit Yadav at 6, and then you build your team from there. And I know someone talked about playing Steve Smith. No, please, just let him stay on the bench.
Test match specialist Steve Smith, eh?
That is the only team in the IPL that could win the WTC and the IPL.
Well, we'll have to see how that happens. But that's all the time we've got this week, everybody. Thank you all for joining us this week. Once again, a very happy birthday to KL Rahul. We hope that he's enjoying himself today. We hope he's going to enjoy himself in the match against Delhi Capitals. And again, a special thank you for joining us to Nita Ambani, to all the rest of the people who are joining us this week. And let's talk about our top 4 team predictions. So let's quickly go through with everyone. Rishi, what's your top 4 team predictions then?
I think it's going to be Mumbai Indians, Bangalore, Chennai Super Kings, and probably Delhi Capitals.
Okay, Drupad?
I would like to go with MI, obviously. MI, RCB as well. I know it's a bit late, early to say this, but I think Hyderabad is going to come back. So MI, RCB, Hyderabad, and there would be a tough fight between Rajasthan and DC. So, but I would still like to go with Rajasthan. So MI, Hyderabad, RCB, and Rajasthan.
Ahan, no one's saying DC. Top 4, what do you think?
Delhi Capitals. Let me just think about everything else. Yeah, RCB. Probably RCB. Mumbai, I think Mumbai are going to lose a few games now in like these slow pitches because they can't keep winning like this. And who do I like on the podcast?
Gujarat Lions.
Let's go with Punjab Kings. I like the team.
Punjab Kings. Why not? Everybody likes Anmol. Why not? Abhijit, top 4 prediction. Who do you think?
Of course, KKR. Then RCB. I don't want MI, so it has to be SRH and RCB. Sorry.
Okay.
KKR, RCB, SRH, and let's go with CSK.
Okay. Anmol?
I would first go with Punjab, definitely on the top. And second, I would go with DC. And then third with Rajasthan. And fourth, it's been a KKR.
Okay.
No
Sachin.
Mumbai.
No Mumbai is saying.
My top 2 would be RCB and MI because I believe they will be carrying their form that they got. My third pick would be, I guess, KKR. I think the game that they lost against Mumbai Indians, I believe they have the ability to come back. And as an optimistic Rajasthan Royals fan, I want the team to be the 4th team should be Rajasthan Royals, but I believe it is going to be a shootout between Rajasthan, Punjab, CSK and SRH. I believe they will be coming back.
Named all 8 teams, Sanchit.
all 8 teams.
Hey, that's fine. He's an equal opportunist. Manish, top 4 predictions. Who do you think?
Delhi Capitals, I think, will top the charts this time. RCB, they look like a good unit. Mumbai Indians, you can't keep them out of the picture. And Sunrisers Hyderabad, being the optimistic fan that I am.
Why not? And Amanda, you're back now. Who's your top 4 prediction this year for the final top 4?
Well, Mumbai, RCB. Choosing between Delhi and SRH, but I'm going to go SRH and Chennai.
Okay, fair enough. Some decent shouts in there. I obviously think that Gujarat Lions will finish top, but I hope that every year. Thank you very much, and everybody. Like I said, a very thank you, for everybody who's joined us on all of our social media platforms. Once again, thank you for watching. to all of our fans, everybody around the world. Like I said, Nita Ambani, thank you for joining us. Preeti Zinta, thank you for joining us. Kavya Maran, thank you for joining us. Right, guys, we will see you soon on next podcast. Enjoy today's games. Peace.
Thank you so much, Ashish. It was a
See
great
you
discussion.
guys.
Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having
Pleasure.
us.